friends today predicted the day as much as I knew that, like the gas being prevalent throughout the major occupations of the world. And here I've been getting some really positive, ominous signs from nature, including two eagles circling right above me. And two is completion. Just saying some spells, saying some curses, putting off an energy I know to be wrong, but trying to find key when doing so, when confronting evil. It's like it tends to make you feel more anxious. It's like, what am I doing? What am I really talking back to here? If there's such and such an evil in the world, that the best way to deal with it is to make giant pentagrams and knock pieces of wood into the ground, or say things about righting the various injustices of your life. So saith the Soul of Man, and so forth. It's a little scary about what you're. If it's not right, what are you doing? Yet I get a lot of positive signs from nature, and it involves a deep recognition of what is bothering you, and that is scary. And that some things and people can bother you as long as they do. There are things that need to be righted in the world. You're bonded to that person sometimes. The idea is to get unbonded. You're haunted. You want to get unhaunted. By people who are schizophrenic, they'll haunt you. I've passed just people on the trail, and you can feel a spirit chasing you as you walk by, because it's like there are things loosed about them. I would say it could be a nice nature spirit, or it could be other, like a wandering parasite, saying, hey, you smell good, right? Like a dog, like a wolf, like a predator. My mom doesn't seem to ever deal with people except they seem to be very evil. And if you deal with that evil component, then hopefully you don't have to deal with that evil component. Coming up against the lapses and perversions in human interaction, you come against a good deal of what seems like an intelligent force against your peace of mind. And why would you want to confront that? So you can offset, like such people like Robin Louise are, and he's chronically ill. She's mentally ill, at least, right? And so do what they do. It's not that great, but that's what they do. I just want my mom to stick that, and I want my home to be safe. And there's a local food store with a male manager there who has been starving time in his mind and his energy. He's not done, right? Or I'm not done. I don't know. There's something off in the force. I've never been preyed upon quite so effectively as this man, and I dealt with it so proportionally, and yet it lingers in such a powerful way. You can never forget different kinds and degrees of sexual assault in public. These people don't even know what they're doing, but in some sense, once they figure out there's something wrong, they have to start chopping heads. They have to make sure they find someone who's a problem, so they can get out of responsibility. So they find a new scapegoat. Oh, didn't work with you, I'll find another one. Or luckily, I can come back to you again. All right, let's turn the tables. People could look through my eyes. A lot of human predatory behavior is, to the average person, unbelievable. It's so unbelievable. The unbelievability of it, given what people believe on a daily basis, is what allows it to continue. And it lives basically in spaces where behavior is particularly unbelievable. And so all of the unbelievable proportions of world oppression opens up markets for all kinds of unbelievable human behavior. Makes sense, right? It's the dark underbelly of the world. But ultimately, I have to make my home sound. Today, I confronted some, and I've got all these pentagrams and shit. Oh yeah, I can get my circles. And I have to make myself positive. My mom, I gotta come home and she's gotta be sound. She interacts with a woman in the building named Faye. She interacts with Elise. She interacts with Rob. These people are schizophrenic, sexual predators, and sick. On some level, I don't feel completely right about any of them. And so she can, depending on what's going on, import parasitical energy into the house.
essentially they can motivate her. My sister, I got to do a spell about my sister because they hop, push, pull, expectations, this, that, suggestions. They have their view on things. You're interacting with a mind that's sick. What are you doing? Circulating sickness, right? They're circulating it through your blood, right? If you're listening, I'm sick, I would be circulating energy through your blood, through my words, right? And yet, do I feel better doing that? No, I wouldn't feel good doing that. So what do? Do I come up to you in public and start talking this way? No. Do I open a school and tell your children these things? No. I'm doing anonymous YouTube videos. That's pretty much as innocuous it gets, next to just sitting here and talking to myself without any recording. But I think that it adds to me. Oh, Lord. Things have gotten a little warmer. I'll relax a little bit. I'm on the other side of the river. I'm an hour from home or so it's good. We're on the way home. Positivity is a bit of short, but like doing all this spell work and stuff, like you have to find a way. Like I was positive and my mom attacked me, so I have to try to get positive again and hope that the integrity of the house will hold. Like a lot of narcissists, my mom has convinced herself that all she's doing is taking care of me, when in fact, I'm processing a lot of her parasites and sickness. Right? And their disease will accuse of hurting them. Accusations are demons speak in double speak. They speak in projections. And if you want to think of that as like the parasitical resort of a mind that's been placed in a trapped, desperate situation beneath, right? So it speaks many tongues and it projects, and it's like it would use this information to hurt you. It would say, "Hey, you're projecting onto me, like Landon said on that video. You're the one who's the psychopath. You're," you know. And it's anyone's guess at that point, except you. You will know. Well, psychopaths feel the same way I do. Well, here's what my judgment has been. People who treat me this way have sent me to hospital 20 times plus. And I've never sent anyone to the hospital. So I've never lived with someone or been in interaction with someone who suddenly gets hospitalized. Let's just say that doesn't happen around me. Why? Because I put out healthy energy. Okay? Right? I'm the one who gets hospitalized. Okay? I'm the one who absorbs your sickness if you're that sick. Right? So that's how I know my judgment's pretty good, because the one with the best judgment is always the one getting fucked with, right? Because it's, don't want someone around who has that light, because I don't like the word light, but they hate your light, as one local warlock told me. Says, they hate your light. They hate your light. They don't even, the parasite does. The person who knows what state of mind, they hate your light. Right? They hate it. They've been taught they hate it. They don't even know they hate it. Humans can hate the spirit of being human. Who knows what we hate? Do we even know what we really hate? Someone in the world just automatically hate you? Do we hate the truth? Do we is really good? Do we hate the fact that if we weren't all lying to ourselves, the world would be a better place? Do we hate that we can all participate in the demonic? That we can all be than just getting the flu? There's worse things than COVID. They get into human blood, and that makes it commendable by many different scales of tacit group consent of various national and supranational orders and religious orders and spiritual orders to send parasitical, murderous energy into your blood. That are doing so, and concoct a pretext to do that, because it's something that people and groups of inevitably need to do. As much as God control all of them through the economic industries of the world. It's just get all of those things when people are oppressed. You're going to get violence. violence, 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 violence. Whenever I've seen it, and wherever I've seen it, it's inevitable. And everything that you thought was about something wonderful and great and loving, now is also completely compatible with being a mandible of human flesh. Because lo and behold, you didn't give some man or woman everything that they might want from you, or you've telegraphed something to them one way or the other accidentally that they can take something more from you. And all they need is a reason to need to. And it grows and it grows, and they look at you and they look at you and they look at you, and with days and weeks or years, one day they can't take it anymore. You looked at them, you didn't look at them enough, you didn't say hi in the way that they thought. You should treat them in a way that you can't even predict in their own mind. And they walk up to you and glare at you and don't even say a word. Just like this. They come up to you in front of witnesses and just glare at you. Like they just want to kill you. They're not really trying to be dominant. It's just they're so fucking angry they can't talk. Right? They're so out of control. All you can do immediately is go, okay, perhaps my voice was not quite loud enough when I said hello to you because you were like 35 and I don't really know you that well, and you're like 25 years older than me, and some witch that scares the tits off me, quite frankly, because you've been stalking me since the moment you met me. I don't know what you think I'm supposed to be to you, but I'm used to relationship developing naturally. It's done me well most of my life, but yeah, I can just lapse into examples. And there's two males in this gong school standing right beside me, and through a little bit of just instinctual energy, I say something to them, and I can see that their brains are mirroring all the violence this woman bears me. They're just completely mirroring it, right? And several times in this same, I noticed the physiology, the instructors and the students mirroring the energy of what this person was doing to me, so that they could get away with it. These were groups at an electronic level, except that certain people can be molested around them, and they just look away. How did that happen? And that's part of the muscular nature of the group. You might say, like, that's how the blood of the group gets rid of things like you and makes the most of it. Because if we're going to get rid of you, we might as well shove tons of toxic energy into you. You're like a piece of crap. The scapegoat is a cavity to put all that shit that makes the group, that the group has to get rid of, because all it's trying to do is bullshit. And anyone pure enough and strong enough and intelligent and natural enough is bound to be earmarked for that. You're going to be looked down upon. You might be the strongest, healthiest person there. I was referred to as a mascot. I was treated, I was raped. I was sexually harassed several times. And eventually I got out of it. I was still doing the cult leader, the woman I was rooming with, all kinds of strange favors. My family was doing her favors. She had nothing but awful things to say about my father. Her only relationship with me gave her some sort of master prerogative to reduce anything about me to how she can save me or help me. How people she knew that had already sexually harassed me in public could help me or save me. This is how they live. And once you see that, once things devolve to that level, it's, what you're seeing is anybody's guess. It is the most horrible part of human existence, aside from, war, genocide, and the Holocaust, right? It might be the worst thing people ever see or feel, and very deeply connected, related symbiotically to the worst things that have ever happened to you and a lot of other people. Abuse, rape, stalking, right? And the things in that school that happened after I started complaining, got angry, went to the beach, decided, okay, there's no point in being angry anymore, because nobody cares, and then just quieting down, and then the teacher and other people starting to escalate sexually stalking me because I'd said anything and all and suggested that it might be a good idea to go to the cult leader because this is a problem that they've already held forth about, which is sexual impropriety on school grounds. And then you start to look at the other phrases and slowly look at what people are saying and not saying, and then backpedaling and getting your trust for this and then but when they need to, basically saying whatever they want and contradicting any of their shit and having no problems with it. Because really, it's just about what they need to say right now. Like, you have to be subdued. They're not dealing with you anymore. They're not talking to you, with you. They're not listening to you. They're not being honest with you. Right? They're controlling you. They're putting words in your mouth. They're speaking ill of you. They're surrounding you. They're rejecting you. Right? They're despoiling your reputation. Anything they can do to survive, whatever it is, their brain seems to be the insult of having to deal in any but the most inappropriate ways with, violence that's already confessed itself, which means that anyone and everyone involved has special needs that they couldn't find a way to put into words. And if you're running a group, you have to talk to those people. If you're running a group where people are being told that this is going to develop their sex energy and their bone marrow, and people are touching you and you're touching them, and you're doing these meditations, and this is supposed to be a safe environment, and when violent things happen, you have to accept that it's a part of your training. And so many people in healing groups and spiritual groups and yoga schools, they think that whatever happens is part of the transformational intelligence between you and that person. It's not about someone who just has a problem stalking people because someone needs to talk to them about what they need and how they feel. Probably pretty awkward. Right? And if you don't have someone in your group that can do that, and you're dealing with vulnerable people, fuck you. I mean, you might as well be driving blind. You might as well be an alcoholic driving down the highway.